Good evening. As we're staying at home more these days, in order to do our part to practice the safe distancing policies that have been put into place, some of us are finding that we have more time on our hands, more time to spend with our families, as we're all spending the time at home, more time to accomplish some of the things on that chore list that we let go in more normal times. We also have more time to spend in prayer, meditation on God's Word, which, since we're in the season of Lent, one of the disciplines of Lent is prayer and meditation on God's Word. We read in Psalm 55, verses 16 and 17, "As for me, I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon I will pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice." And again in Psalm 119, verse 164, we read, "7 times a day will I praise you." The Old Testament people of God had specific times during the day that they prayed. And these prayers developed into formal set patterns of prayer, deeply rooted in God's Word, in the pattern of speech that God had set down for them in the Holy Scriptures. The early Christians continued these patterns of prayer in their private devotions, and as Christians came out of the shadows, as the persecutions ended and Christianity became legal and spread, public prayer services rooted in the patterns, the formal patterns and services of temple and synagogue began to develop in Christianity. We know some of these prayer services. The Office of Matins and the Office of Vespers are two of these prayer services that get used frequently in our churches. The other one that has been used around here with some frequency is the Office of Compline, or prayer at the close of day. Compline simply means close of day, so this would be a prayer service before you go to bed. The editors of our Evangelical Lutheran Hymnary have done us a great service by simplifying Compline and reducing it to a half page that takes about 3 or 4 minutes to pray if you simply pray here what's on the page. Compline begins with some responses that are of the evening sort, followed by a confession of sin, a hymn, which would ideally be an evening hymn, a psalm, and there are traditionally 3 Psalms of Compline: Psalm 4, Psalm 91, and Psalm 134, followed by the chapter, or just a brief verse, and then another evening type responsory, followed by the cry of the church: "Lord have mercy, Christ have mercy, Lord have mercy." And then the Lord's Prayer, a brief evening or bedtime collect or prayer, and then the beautiful canticle Nunc Dimittis, where Simeon prays, "Now, Lord, you let your servant depart in peace according to your word, for my eyes have seen your salvation." Certainly a fitting prayer at the end of the day after we've been preserved by God for another day, as we now lay down for sleep. And then there is an evening blessing. What I intend to do in the next few videos is demonstrate how Compline can be used by the members of our church and others in the home, as individuals or as families. I'm going to record 5 versions of Compline. The first one will simply be praying through it straight, just what's on the page here. It takes about 3 minutes, maybe 4. The next 3 videos, I will pray through Compline using also an evening hymn from our hymnary, and then one of the three sort of traditional psalms that go with Compline. And then in the final video, I will demonstrate how what's on the page here can be augmented by, in our case, things off of our congregational prayer list. So I will include, I'll pray a psalm that is on the prayer sheet, and I'll demonstrate where the lessons for the day that are on the prayer sheet can be incorporated. Apostles' Creed, Luther's evening prayer can be incorporated into Compline here, and other elements of the prayer sheet, so that you'll get a little bit more of an elaborate form of Compline if you desire to use it in a little bit fuller, richer fashion. However Compline is used, it is a rich, meaningful, and beautiful devotional prayer service that makes use of the Holy Scriptures, God's Word that He's given us to strengthen and nourish our faith. And I know that your bedtime prayers, or your evening prayers at night, will be the richer for it if you use this prayer service. God be with you all.